It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. If an injury has to be done to a man, it should be so severe that his vengeance need not be feared. Men should be either treated generously or destroyed, because they take revenge for slight injuries, for heavy ones they cannot. Men ought either to be indulged or utterly destroyed, for if you merely offend them they take vengeance, but if you injure them greatly they are unable to retaliate, so that the injury done to a man ought to be such that vengeance cannot be feared. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. There are three kinds of intelligence. One kind understands things for itself, the other appreciates what others can understand, the third understands neither for itself nor through others. This first kind is excellent, the second good, and the third kind useless. There is nothing more difficult to take in hand, more perilous to conduct, or more uncertain in its success, than to take the lead in the introduction of a new order of things. The first method for estimating the intelligence of a ruler is to look at the men he has around him. Severities should be dealt out all at once, so that their suddenness may give less offense. Benefits ought to be handed out drop by drop, so that they may be relished the more. One who deceives will always find those who allow themselves to be deceived. Men rise from one ambition to another. First, they seek to secure themselves against attack, and then they attack others. No enterprise is more likely to succeed than one concealed from the enemy until it is ripe for execution. When you disarm the people, you commence to offend them and show that you distrust them either through cowardice or lack of confidence, and both of these opinions generate hatred. War should be the only study of a prince. He should consider peace only as a breathing time which gives him leisure to contrive and furnishes as ability to execute military plans. Men are so simple and so much inclined to obey immediate needs that a deceiver will never lack victims for his deceptions. A son can bear with equanimity the loss of his father, but the loss of his inheritance may drive him to despair. God is not willing to do everything, and thus take away our free will and that share of glory which belongs to us. It is necessary for him who lays out a state and arranges laws for it to presuppose that all men are evil, and that they are always going to act according to the wickedness of their spirits whenever they have free scope. The one who adapts his policy to the times prospers, and likewise that the one whose policy clashes with the demands of the times does not. A return to first principles in a republic is sometimes caused by the simple virtues of one man. His good example has such an influence that the good men strive to imitate him, and the wicked are ashamed to lead a life so contrary to his example. Hence it comes about that all armed prophets have been victorious, and all unarmed prophets have been destroyed. The wish to acquire more is admittedly a very natural and common thing, And when men succeed in this, they are always praised rather than condemned. But when they lack the ability to do so and yet want to acquire more at all costs, they deserve condemnation for their mistakes.